nostalgia.
I really don't understand how they're doing that paint. It's like it's printed on. All of those lines are absolutely razor sharp. Howdy friends, and welcome back to Toy Box Nostalgia. I'm Douglas. In this video, we're gonna be unboxing, building, reviewing, and taking a fun toy photograph of this action figure you see before us, my friends. That's right, we have the brand new 2025 Blokees Star Wars / Disney Champion Class Stormtrooper. This is an action figure that's also a model. So yeah, we're gonna get a big old hit of dopamine right now, and then afterwards, we obviously are gonna get a hit of nostalgia because this is Star Wars, right? On top of that, this thing looks really accurate to me, from my memory, and the amount of articulation is just nuts. So it's going to look fantastic in your toy displays or in your toy photographs. And again, building it is just like, that's the journey, my friends. After the journey, you just get to enjoy the product, right? Taking a look at this packaging, look at this toy photograph we have right here on the front. That's of the actual product that's inside here. Can you even believe that? This thing was like $22 on AliExpress. They are up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. I just didn't want to wait. I really wanted to build this here. So this is only the second Star Wars action figure that I've ever purchased for myself, and I had to get it because it's the model, and it's Blokees. I am an absolute fan of Blokees. I love what they're doing. They're making these beautiful action figures and little tiny mini action figures for Transformers and a lot of other franchises, including Star Wars. The fact that they're model kits and they look this good blows my mind. This entire packaging is in Chinese because, like I said, I got it from AliExpress. I'm not sure if the packages from Big Bad Toy Store are going to be any different, but we could definitely see that Blokees logo up here at the top left. On the top right, we see Star Wars. And then look at this toy photograph. This is the actual product that's in this box that we're going to build. Can you believe that? Look at this. The thing about the Night Trooper that I learned, it is so easy to take an amazing toy photograph of a Stormtrooper because they just look so cool. Over here on the side, we have yet another beautiful toy photograph of this action figure in what looks like some sort of spaceship setting, right? It's Star Wars. That only makes sense. Down here at the bottom says Star Wars. And then flipping over to the back, we get two action shots of him holding his pew-pew. He does come with one. He looks like he comes with two extra sets of hands and a pointy hand, like a pointy finger, like this. Up here, we could see this is how the model's put together, though I'm hoping it comes with better instructions than that. But then we get pictures of the sprues. We get 9 sprues total, it looks like. 6 are just white plastic, and 3 are dark black plastic, maybe a dark charcoal plastic. And then over here, there's some sort of barcode. I don't believe this is ever going to come to retail. Maybe it is. I mean, I do see some of the Transformer stuff in Target or in Walmart every now and then. Anyways, it says Stormtrooper down here. It says Champion Class Figures Champion Series. Down here at the bottom, we have some copyright information, says Star Wars. We got the Blokees logo right there. This company is just so much fun, honestly. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this guy out of the package, my friends. Okay, inside the packaging, just raw white cardboard. So here's everything that you get inside this box, my friends. We get 3 bags of sprues, and then we have one which looks like little joint pieces right here, and we see there's one that says Star Wars. That's pretty awesome. And then we get the instruction booklet, my friends, which folds all the way out, looks like. Very nice. 5 panels total, so this shouldn't be too hard to build. Let's go ahead and build this. Okay, I'm going to speed this up here, the build process, but take a look at this. Each sprue has up here, it says A1, and then this one, this is B2, and then we have a B1 right here. And that's how you figure out which sprue to get the piece from. You can see right there, the first one says B1. And you can see right on B1, that's where the piece is. Let's go ahead and try and take it out without a tool. So here's the result of step 1. This is the head right here, and this is actually 6 pieces all put together. You can't really take them apart once they're put together. There's 0 tolerance. It's very tight fit and very seamless looking. Here's the result of step 2. This is his right arm. This is 10 pieces right here. So we have the hand guard right there. We have the entire forearm. There's a joint inside of here. We have the bicep piece. And then there is a hinged, like articulated ball joint here at the top for the shoulder. You see right there, and then there's the shoulder pad. Here is the result of step 3. This is the Stormtrooper's left arm, and it's exactly the same as the right. The process was identical. So the next step is the torso. This is made from 11 pieces right here. So right now I'm building the pelvis, and you can see that some of these pieces are keyed, so you can't really put them in backwards or upside down. The instructions so far have been very intuitive. So the pelvis itself is 11 pieces. This is so much fun. I love doing this. The next step was the Stormtrooper's right leg. You could see his shoe right there. Holy cow, you could tell already there's going to be a lot of really fun articulation. The next step was his left leg. This was very easy, very nice. It's 12 parts, exactly. The next step was his waist. This is just 3 pieces. And finally, I believe we just kind of put it all together, it says. So here he is all built, my friends, and does he look epic? Holy cow, the build process was so much fun. Congratulations, Blokees, on that design, because it was very intuitive and there was zero tolerance. Everything is held together, snapped together with friction. Holy cow, does this thing have so much articulation. This is absolutely weightless. Okay, my friends, so here is everything built. We have the action figure who is insanely posable. By the way, look at him just standing on his own. I got like the Playmates, Donatello leg going down there with the foot bent that way, and he's standing perfectly still, right? The base is really nice. The base was actually 3 pieces. You can see the top piece kind of spins and moves, and it does in fact have holes in it in random areas here, so if you'd like to stand him in different positions, you can technically use these holes. So the pieces were this plaque right here on the front, the whole bottom, the base piece, and then the top spinning platform piece, which is a really neat design. So the way you get him to stand on there, again, really fun engineering, right, is you get an extra sole for his right foot, I believe, and it has a massive peg on the bottom. And that peg just plugs right in here. There's a little sole right there already plugged in. I just plug it into his foot. And that's it, my friends. And just like that, you could get him to stand in pretty much any position. If I pull his foot off, you could see that the sole does in fact have a very large peg. So the hands, right? We get a total of 3 sets of hands. So the hands that are on him right now are the hands they have you build in the instructions, and these are the fist hands. You can see right there. And then you get a left-handed pointing hand. You see right there? He's just pointing, right? What the hell is that? And then you get 2 open/relaxed hands right here. These are my favorite sculpts. These look really nice. And the way these go on, by the way, these are just ball joints. They snap in and out really easy, but with enough friction where you don't have to worry about them just falling off or falling apart or anything like that. And finally, here's the last hand. It's actually part of the pew pew, which I think is a really neat design. So you don't have to worry about it coming apart. This is in fact 2 pieces. This white piece right here is the hand guard, and it just plugs in and it is keyed, as you see right here, so you can't really put them in backwards. So here's a close-up look at the ball joint and the sockets for the hand. They go in here really easy. It doesn't take much. You definitely hear a satisfying pop once you get it in there. All right, my friends, so let's now take a close look at the action figure details, because not only does Blokees shine in the build process, but the details are fantastic. So let's start off by taking a close look at the Stormtrooper's head. I really don't understand how they're doing that paint. It's like it's printed on. All of those lines are absolutely razor sharp. They even have paint in the mouth vent that you see right there. It's just beautiful. Take a look at the plastic there that goes into the chin in the 2 pieces that I believe are speakers. Yeah, flipping over to the back, you can see there's still tons and tons of detail in that helmet. Looks beautiful. I love the chest sculpt. It's very sharp. It's like razor sharp, and it looks very intentional. And then flipping over to the back, he's got that iconic Stormtrooper back stuff going on right there. His arms have the typical shoulder pads you see right here that a Stormtrooper would have, and they move up and down. Yeah, as you can see inside there, it just kind of snaps into the plunger. Everything had such a satisfying pop or snap when putting this together. But as you can see, it doesn't inhibit the rotation or the arm movement in any way whatsoever. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love that. I love the bicep design. Even the details here on the forearm, just really nice. And then the hands, all of the hand sculpts are so much fun. They almost look cartoonish, but they fit this figure perfectly. And then they put a bunch of details here on his abdomen, as you see, and then flipping over to the back, I don't see any inside there. You could see the plastic is so sharp looking. All of the details are carved out or designed, like cast rather, in like absolutely pristine molds, because this thing is razor sharp. I love it. And then over here, like I said about the symmetry on his right leg, you see it's almost like a giant gear. And then on his left leg, he's got that knee protector right there. And then moving down to the, I guess these are full boots right here. Maybe he just has shoes on, actually. And all of this is just, you know, armor, technically, right? His shoes are just so basic looking. I love the way they look. They're like kind of nerdy. I don't know. It's neat. Okay, so next up, articulation, my friends. This guy articulates like a champ, by the way. So we have a ball joint. We could spin 360 at the neck and at the head, and we have tons of joystick movement in all directions just because of its really awesome design. If I pop it off, you can see his neck has movement. Look how much movement his neck has. And then obviously we have the ball joint inside the head. So this engineering for this type of articulation up here at the head, absolutely awesome. Moving down to the shoulder, he does have a ball joint right there. And you can see there's a very large hinge on there also. So not only do we get a huge amount of articulation just from the ball joint itself, like I'm getting movement that is twist and also 360 spin, but as you see with that hinge, you can move in and out, and you could get him to pretty much do anything with his arms. Moving down to the bicep, we do have a bicep cut. You could see kind of hard to make out, but it's definitely spinning right there. And then moving down to the elbow is two pegs essentially that go into the forearm and one into the bicep. You can see right there, and it's double jointed. And then down at the hand, there's a hinge at the hand. You can see that it's also on a ball joint right there. So you could see the hinge moving up right there. You can see the hinge moving down. You could definitely identify the ball joints, right? And then there's the socket for the hand. It just snaps right in. And you get, seriously, one of the coolest looking Stormtrooper action figures I think I've ever seen before in my life. Moving down to the waist, he does spin at the waist, and you can actually pull him out one notch inside there to get tons of articulation down at the waist. But he also has this ab crunch right here, this chest crunch. So the amount of articulation, look at that. Dude can seriously look at his feet. That's how good the articulation is. That's insane. And you could see he could definitely bend backwards, look all the way up at the sky, and you could see he can twist his body in many different directions. If we move down to his pelvis, you can see that there's a barbell style joint system inside there, where we have a bar going across and two ball joints inside there that go into sockets, giving us tons of articulation at the top of the leg where the legs connect at the pelvis. And then moving down just a little bit, we have at the top of the calf, you could see right here, this was the only way I could show it to you, is we have a cut up here at the top. And you can see it spins. Moving down to the knee, it's a double jointed knee. As you see right there. So there's a peg inside the thigh and a peg inside the calf. Moving down to the feet, he's got a hinge at the ankle, and he also has a peg that points down towards his toes, giving him a rocker. So this dude can, if he has his legs spread out, like I always say on the channel, you can get him to plant his feet flat on the ground. And this dude has absolutely no problem standing. Like he'll stand by accident. Like it's so easy to get this guy to stand in many different display positions that I've done so far. The one part that's kind of weird about this is this double joint right here on this knee over here, because you can see it's like thin. It's just like a peg right there. It's kind of odd. Also at the foot, he has toe crunch, as you see right there. Goes up almost 90 degrees, and then down it actually has a stop. The way it's engineered is flawless. It is truly a perfect action figure. I think this guy is nuts. There's lots of details, lots of articulation. The accessories are awesome. Blokees hit another home run. I do have one tiny gripe, and I don't know if this was my fault or not, but this white plastic, Has a lot of dark blemishes on it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it looks like it's done in the manufacturing process because it looks like some sort of machine kind of grinded off of it, or something was used to poke the plastic out of the mold maybe. You can see some right there on his inner thighs, and then you can see that one right there on the back of his left thigh. It's up here in the torso on the belt. Thankfully it's not on the chest or on the head, because that would probably drive me insane. It is kind of like hidden, and it's easy to Photoshop out, and honestly I'm not even worried about it. This action figure is truly gorgeous, and the build process was a lot of fun. The next thing we have to do now is a simple comparison, my friends. Okay, so this Stormtrooper from Blokees stands just under 6 inches tall, right around 14.5 centimeters. On the right, we have the Blokees Champion Class Star Wars Stormtrooper, and on the left, we have the Super 7 Deluxe cartoon version of Lion-O. Here he is standing next to the Mattel Creations exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins Despera action figure. Here he is standing next to the Super 7 Ultimates toy version of Steelheart from Silverhawks. So this has been the Toy Box Nostalgia unboxing, building, review, and next up is the toy photograph. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for sticking to the end. I love this stuff from Blokees. I think what they're doing is amazing, bringing us these model kits that are very easy to put together and so much fun. Tons of detail, absolutely tons of articulation. This is like, I feel like how action figures should be moving forwards. There's definitely a lot less plastic. This thing weighs almost nothing. It's very easy to pose. It has tight joints. I can't say anything bad about this figure. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, my friends. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, grab your cameras and collect and shoot.